So I'm Darcy, and my husband is Dan, and this is the Bear Haus. It is the most majestic thing in Highlands.
When I rewind the tape, I originally met Darsi and Dan just over 3 years ago, and they started to share some of the goals they had for their future. And one of those goals was to design and build a house together.
After living in a few places across Canada, I realized that for me, the most important thing is community, and it's the trees, and it's the people, and it's the culture, and the little restaurants. Those are the things that we were looking for.
They had asked me a lot of questions on what neighborhoods I thought would suit them, and I immediately said, you guys should really consider Highlands. It's a neighborhood that has a ton of heritage. You're close to the river valley. You have access to markets, some of the best small businesses in town, and you have mature trees and trails. And when I think of infill, it's one of the areas I get very excited about. So one day they called me up and they said, hey Sean, you'll never guess what? We bought a house and we're gonna tear it down and we're gonna build something. And everything moved a little bit more quickly after that. One of the things that I think is really worth celebrating about this house is the design. And our design team really knocked it out of the park. We captured a lot of elements that Darsi and Dan had outlined with us. They brought pictures and told stories of different places they've been, hotels they've been at, and different sort of styles and features that really inspired them. We took all of that and we put it together in the Bear Haus, which you see here today.
Bear Haus was inspired by a lot of things that I saw as I kind of traveled the world and things that inspired me in places that I felt comfortable. You know, it's a beautiful mixture of wood, stone, high ceilings, beautiful bathrooms, a kitchen that's functional. When I approached Timber, I gave them pictures of things that I saw in Vancouver. I think a lot of people will spend time thinking, in order to build a house like that, you have to go live in one of those bigger cities. But the reality is, no, you don't. You can build something beautiful here, and that's what Timber did. They built a beautiful home with an aesthetic that I wanted, but also that could survive an Edmonton winter.
One of the core elements of biophilic design is natural light, windows, and shadow. And Bear Haus is a house that I think really exemplifies some of those characteristics, where the shadows that are created in the evening, the way the light kind of interfaces with everything, the connection to the beautiful trees outside, creates these just unbelievable moments.
The illumination at night, it just makes the house because it creates shadowing effect that goes onto the stone and into the wood in the house. And then you're like looking into it and you're like, wow, like, this thing is alive. Like, it's a beautiful mix of materials that come together to create the most beautiful collage that casts light like a lantern onto the street.
One of the most unique features about this home is the grand entrance. This entrance was inspired by a hotel, and Darsi had brought a number of photos in. We used walnut paneling on the walls. We have a black metal railing. And then we did this really unique hidden closet feature that goes up as a pillar all the way to the ceiling. The result is you get this compression and release as you move through different parts of that space, and it draws your eye in all kinds of interesting directions. And also the way the windows bring light through the space becomes something that is really exciting.
What was even more amazing was that the design evolved during the build. I was super excited about the wood paneling in the back. And then they were building the house, and I looked through what was gonna be the door, the window, and I was like, you know what, we need more paneling. It can't just be that one piece. Everything came together, and before you know it, we have paneling in the entire section of the front entrance. And for me, that is my most favorite part of the house. It creates so much presence when you walk into the home. It's like, this is a grand entrance. The Bear Haus is, if you brought two worlds together. It's a mix of what I was looking for in terms of an aesthetic, coupled with functionality.
When Darsi and Dan had talked to us, we knew that dogs were going to be a very important part of their lives. They spoke very affectionately about their dogs. So the idea was proposed to create these very beautiful and architectural dog gates that slid into the wall, but that are magnetic and metal. So they're going to have an element of durability and aesthetics that you really couldn't get anywhere else. We also did a dog wash and created some really unique zones within the house that are focused on where would pad foot like to live. And you think about some of those things as you speak through the design, and then to see it realized in the end is also really special.
My advice would be enjoy the process. Like, I love the whole building process. It was so much fun. I remember the day they framed it and I'm like, oh my God, this is our house. But then I'm like, well, then the framing was over. I'm like, well, now it's not exciting anymore. But then there was other things to be excited about. It's fun. Another aspect of Timber Haus that I really like is the transparency. At no point were we having smoke blown in our face. At any point in the process, it was mostly under-promising with significant over-delivery. And that's the kind of builder I want to work with. Timber is one of those people that is a 10, but it thinks it's a 2. But it's not, it's a 10. And that's the person you want. You want the humility that goes with building. Because it is a huge project. These houses are the investment of a lifetime. It's like we are taking all of the money that we have, or most of it, and we were throwing it at a house that we want to live in, and at no point does Timber take that for granted. You know, a lot of people, sometimes they'll snoop on their builder to see if they're doing a good job, but the reality is that Timber was always doing a good job. The corners were perfect, laser precision. There wasn't a single person that built this house or put hands on this house that wasn't like incredibly social, but also functioning at a very high level. And that's what you want when you're taking all of your investment and building your forever home. And they did it all with a budget in mind, and that makes Timber also a great builder, is because they realized, like, in an ideal world, yeah, the money wouldn't be a problem, but when it comes to building something that's gonna be beautiful, there's always going to be a budget. Timber's so transparent, and they'll be like, this is exactly what this is going to cost. One thing they're really good at is helping you work through the process. And there will be some super highs and there will be days that are super low. And when you hit those lows, Timber's not just standing there waving, like, hey, let's see you in a couple of weeks, let us know what you want to do. It's like, they're there with you being like, okay, let's line by line, like even in the change order, it's like, we're gonna go through each and every line to figure out what we can do to make your dreams come true. There was moments where we cried during the build, but they were crying too. There was moments where we laughed and had a great time, and they were there celebrating it with us too. And it was all so genuine. It's like they were like family at that point. When we took possession, it's like every single person from Timber was here to hand this home over to us, like they were giving us a baby. And that's the amount of love that I think Timber throws at these projects. It's not just another build. Everything matters so much. And that's what I want to hear as a buyer.
It's a long journey to design and build a custom home with someone. It's something where you really get to know people and you bring them in. And we say when you build a house with us, you become part of the family. And Darsi and Dan are no exception of that. The day was something that I'm going to cherish, you know, for the rest of my life. One of the phrases we use is dream, design, build, service. And it's something that we truly believe in, that when you build a house with us, that we're going to be with you for a very, very long time. You know, even to this day, we still get pictures of them in their house that they share with us, and we're building homes for people that they truly cherish and that we think that the neighborhood's going to celebrate for years to come.
If you're going to knock a house down and put something up, it should create something better than what was there before. You guys do respect this neighborhood. It starts with something as simple as these trees. And Timber sets the whole thing up. It's like the most important thing in the yard is not even the house, it's that tree. And that's where it all starts. And that is really important to the people of the Highlands.
The Bear Haus, I think, is a perfect example of naturally inspired living. And we know that we've created something really special with these clients that we're incredibly proud to share with the world.
I take pride in knowing that this house will still be here 100 years from now because it's timeless.